Abroad Pod.
Hello, I'm your host, Rowan Lomas, and this is the Teaching Abroad Pod. On this episode, we have the pleasure of speaking with English teacher Bernice Mercury, who completed our 160-hour TEFL certification course with a specialization in teaching business English back in January of this year. Hi, Bernice.
Hello. Hi,
And
Rowan.
you've been teaching in Honduras since back in March. You're a graduate of Toronto Metropolitan University with a Bachelor of Social Work degree, and previously worked as a social worker, caregiver, fitness instructor, and regional manager for Up With Women, a national charity on a mission to help recently homeless and at-risk women and gender diverse individuals build a sustainable pathway out of poverty. Welcome to the pod, Bernice.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm
Hi.
excited to be here and talk with you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. So it looks like you've worked in some very meaningful roles over the years, making positive contributions to people's lives in various situations. What made you want to switch careers to teaching English?
Because honestly, about 10 years ago, I had already looked into this and the timing just wasn't right. I am, as everybody is, getting older, and I thought, if not now, when, basically. And I just up and quit my job without really a plan B, and then just went for it. So then I re-enrolled in this program, and then I said, yep, this is what I really want to do. I also have some teacher friends that I reached out to, and I was just so excited about how well and how quickly everything went once I did the exam and everything. So you, of course, being a catalyst and a key person, thank you to you as well, if I haven't thanked you enough, but you have been very instrumental in what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Thank you. That's our pleasure. That's what we are here for. It makes our day when we help somebody start a life-changing journey like you're going on teaching in another country. So speaking of teaching in Honduras, why did you choose Honduras? Was there anything particularly appealing about the location, the benefits, stipends, housing, anything like that?
Yeah, well, a lot of that, and it kind of chose me because, again, so timing for me is everything. I did look at another school as well in Honduras. However, that one didn't work out just because I was going away. So they needed that continuity.
Hmm.
But this was very appealing though, because I thought, wow, they're going to give us, housing. It's a teacher's house, also 2 meals per day, every day, except for the weekends. And then on top of that, they would also give us a stipend to help with our meals during the week and on the weekends. And then they also give us a stipend at the end of the month. So I thought, it's small, but I honestly, Rowan, have been able to manage to save money and
What?
yes, to
As a
save
volunteer.
as a volunteer, to save money and to be able to use that extra surplus and do little excursions and things like that. So I'm not going to say frugal, but I'm very good with my money.
Hmm.
My bulk of my spending was on the weekends, like for the weekend meals, because yes, I had to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or breakfast and dinner. So yeah, I thought it was very generous of this organization to provide, 2 meals per day to the teachers plus the house that I'm in here, although I live in a casita just steps away on the property. But yeah, so all of that is free. So if you're not paying for all of that, you have like the peace of mind of just being able to do what you're supposed to be doing in terms of teaching and things like that. So I jumped at it basically. And I am not a winter person. And Honduras is a hot country and it's a tropical country. Again, all of that appealed to me because I wanted to be in the heat. And trust me, it is hot here, but it's just so luscious. It's just so beautiful. I kind of brag to my friends all the time that, there are orange trees here, there are mango trees here, avocado trees here. And I'll say, you know what I did today? I picked oranges from the ground and made fresh squeezed orange juice myself. And I'd say, you know what I did today? So it's really fun to just be in a place that you get the fresh fruits just directly to you. Because, of course, in Canada, I can taste the difference with the avocados, with the oranges, with the mangoes.
Absolutely. I
Fresh.
lived in Costa Rica for 9 months, and that was one of my favorite things was you can just go out and pick a mango and eat it off
Yes,
the tree, or
yes,
go to the
yes,
farmer's market and get the fresh lychees and make a
yes,
smoothie with dragon fruit and lychee and all of that delicious food. It's just so much better fresh,
yes,
picked
absolutely.
that week.
It's lychee season right now, so they're in abundance. Yeah.
Amazing.
One other thing, so there was, because I'm originally born in the Caribbean and my parents raised us as West Indian children, and so we ate a lot of West Indian food, but there was breadfruit and we were away, like myself and a couple other teachers were away. We stopped at a little market, as you talked about, and there was breadfruit, and so I bought one and, roasted it here, and oh my goodness, Rowan, it was delicious. It's just different than, again, it's just different than what we taste back at home. So,
Yes. Didn't
yeah,
have to sit on a truck for 2 weeks and
no,
turn from
exactly.
green on your shelf. Yeah, amazing. Now, in terms of you said you're in a little casita. How does that compare to the teacher apartments or the shared house, I guess? Like, how does that all work for the various people on site?
So for me, I absolutely love it. So as I mentioned, it's just, a couple steps away, but it's my own like little apartment and I have it set up where of course I have my bed and then there's a desk that I can use, for preparing work for school and things like that. So I put my computer on there and I use it, that way. So it's two kind of like partitioned off places in the apartment. In the house, there are three bedrooms and each of them has, I would say, maybe not the ensuite, because there's one that is the primary suite. So that one I would say only has enough room for one bed, but it does have an ensuite bathroom. So the other two rooms, though, they are set up that two people can be in each room. So technically, there can be five people living in the house. And then there are, I think it's four, actually, four casitas outside. So there are two outhouses and one outhouse in which you can use it as a bath, like a bathroom to take a shower. Because in the house here, other than the ensuite room, there's only the one shower. So if we have five people here, it does become a little challenging to get ready in the mornings. We don't have that many teachers right now, but when we did, we had to have schedules as to who's taking a shower at what time.
It's almost like being at camp as a teenager or something.
Kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that. So, yeah, but we did arrange it and it worked out perfectly fine.
And how's the water in the shower? Is it frigid or is it okay?
Again, I'm just not the cold person. So, actually, this morning taking a shower, I was just thinking, geez, it feels as though it's gone back to the way it was at the very beginning. It's a little cold for me. And it's like that sometimes. I can certainly say I've gotten used to it, but there are times that I feel as though the water is a little bit colder than I would like.
Does it
And the
have one of those little electric contraptions that's supposed to warm the water, or is it just whatever it comes out of the ground, that's what you get?
water comes out of the ground, exactly.
Okay.
And the water is also very soft, I feel. And so you need to do a lot of, rinsing. Yeah.
That was one of the shocks for my first time living in Latin America was getting used to. It takes a while for your body to get used to that cold shower.
Yeah, absolutely.
But hey, it's one of the minor
It's absolutely,
disadvantages, I guess, out of the many great things that you get to
oh,
experience.
absolutely. It's minor. Yeah, it's just a minuscule thing. Yeah.
So, how would you say it's worked out for you as a volunteer teacher in your first foray teaching abroad? Would you recommend something like this for new teachers in the field who don't really have a lot of experience?
Absolutely. I specifically wanted to do volunteering first, just because I personally didn't feel as ready as I wanted to be. Like I'm just kind of nervous that way. And so I feel if I got my toes in, then, I can kind of ease my way into the teaching world. So I would definitely recommend, volunteering. And it's also, of course, just a way to give back. A situation like this where like I feel as though it's really a give and take, so you're giving something as well as the organization is giving something. And, of course, somebody's receiving. So the children hopefully are benefiting. I'm not going to say hopefully they are. I had some people kind of reach out and congratulate me on, doing the volunteering. And one person wrote, which I thought was so sweet. She said, "Oh, your students are so fortunate to have you as a teacher," because she knows me like through Up with Women. And I just thought, oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend volunteering, whether you feel comfortable or not, just going right in there. But for me, this was my stepping stone. As a volunteer, I feel I've gotten some experience and I feel definitely more comfortable now to go into a paid position. And that's what I'm looking for my next gig as to what I will be doing. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad it has worked out as you've intended, and there must have been some nice sights to see, things to do. What would you say have been the highlights of your time in Honduras?
So Honduras, I would say it was a bit more challenging for me. Like I do travel by myself all the time. The challenging parts for me is that I feel things aren't as readily accessible, I guess. And what I mean by that is that some of the things that I've done have been like really far away. So it's not just like a little, 20-minute, 30-minute, hour away excursion. These are like 4 hours, 5 hours, and more. Some of them where I've had to travel on a bus,
On a
you know,
rickety old bus.
on a rickety old bus. Absolutely. I just came from Roatan, and so I took a bus, which was about a 4 hour ride, then a 15-minute taxi to get to the boat, which was an hour and a half ride. So that's just one way. And that was a long, that's of course, that's a further away excursion.
Mhm.
But also I went to Copan and Copan Ruinas, and one of them was about 2 hours because I visited a teacher that used to teach here. But Copan Ruinas, which is like the Mayan sites, that was about 4 hours as well. And again, in a rickety old bus. And so that's what I mean by maybe not necessarily as accessible. Even the Ubers, when I've tried to take Ubers, and there was also another teacher here, they had difficulty finding us. And so that was a challenge in itself. And even when we were in the main city, San Pedro Sula, you would see them on the app that they're coming, and then they cancel the ride, and it's like, what happened? And we'd have to call again and again and again. So it's happened a few times, and so that's what I mean by just not as accessible.
Mhm.
Whereas maybe in other places that I've visited, you just call an Uber, they're there, you go and you come back, no problem. So I've felt as though I haven't really explored maybe as much as I would have, even though I've been here much longer than other places. But I
Yeah.
just as though I haven't explored as much as I would have maybe in another country, another city or something. Yeah.
I can very much relate to that Uber experience. Like in Costa Rica, we were living in a small town. Often there'd be no Ubers available, and if there was one or two, you try and get one, and they just wouldn't take your ride. In
Mm-hmm.
San Jose, it was much easier, but what I found helped was I got to know some local taxi drivers, and I got their number, and
Okay.
we knew each other, so we wanted to go somewhere. I'd just call Christian, and if he was available, he'd be there in 2 minutes, and like that was
Oh,
kind
awesome.
of
Yeah.
a nice way around the Uber
Yeah.
issue. Yeah, when we went to Panama, I tried to order an Uber from the airport,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that apparently that's not allowed in Panama City. The Ubers aren't allowed at the airport, so that was very difficult.
Uh-huh.
Had to cancel and pay to cancel because we didn't want to walk 20 minutes to find an Uber. And
Right.
yeah, there's a lot of learning experiences going
Yeah,
on with Ubers abroad for sure.
for sure.
Anyway, back to your sites you saw. Would you say it was worth the time and the effort to go on those 4 hour trips and visit those places?
Oh, absolutely, though. Definitely, absolutely. Like Copan, both times visiting the teacher that used to be here. It's just I love those cobblestone cities or towns, and it's just so quaint, and the people were lovely, the food was great, and it was smaller, I think, even like than here. But when I went to the ruins, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I didn't even listen to all of the like you take a snapshot of the scanner to hear what each different port is about, and even up to now I haven't even listened to all of them yet, but basically, yeah, that place is huge, and that was a good eye opener as well. And just in like in San Pedro Sula, there are things that I've done. Like I had gone to try to see that Coca-Cola sign. So like when you get off the bus, you can see it, like it's way up there in the mountains. Now, all of the reviews and things like that that I saw, they were misleading. I will say this because I'm a physical person, I'm in shape, and this thing did not take no 45 minutes to an hour. It took more like 2 hours and a bit to get all the way to the top. So I will just say that. But yeah, just like I said, hanging around San Pedro, I had wanted to actually go into town when I came back from Roatan. I just came back from Roatan like Thursday, and I had wanted to go into town because there's a nice park there, and I didn't even see. So again, I've been further out than I guess maybe closer in town because there's a museum, like an archaeological museum I had wanted to see, which I probably can still do before I leave. That's the only other thing on my list. So to possibly see the archaeological museum and possibly the park in San Pedro Sula, downtown San Pedro Sula.
What about just locally where you are? I know our previous guest mentioned there's a really nice pool kind of with like a next to the forest or something.
Yeah,
The locals hang out.
we've been down there. I haven't been in the pool, but yes, I've been past there many times just going on walks because there is a nice path. And actually, as well as part of our school project, we went down that way and we planted trees down there. But yeah, I haven't been in the pool myself, but just been along the path. So he's right. There is, sorry, a nice pool that you can go and lounge in. And also there's a gym right out here, but I haven't gone because I just do my own workouts like right here. And also, I'm a phys ed teacher at schools.
Using
I
your
don't,
fitness instructor background.
that's right. That's right.
Are there any particular food or drink you suggest people try if they're ever in Honduras?
Well, I mean, at school, we have, of course, some of the typical Honduran meals. I'm kind of boring that way. Like when I do like something, I kind of stick with that. There are a couple of, I guess, pulperias in the neighborhood, like right here, and I tend to get the same thing. So it's like just chicken and either fries or chicken and green bananas. So they chip it up as chips, but they fry it though.
Mhm.
And so either one of the two, but chicken and one of those two combos I'll get. Outside, so of course, when I go to San Pedro Sula, then they have more of the Canadian American type of foods, like what is it, like Kentucky Fried Chicken, Popeyes, Caesars, Asian food.
You
Um,
probably have to pay more for than
you
you
do,
would for a full
you
meal, Honduran
definitely do.
típica
Yeah,
food, comida
yeah.
típica, whatever they call
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. So I mean, at school, we get the baleadas quite a bit. We get almost every meal. There's something like with tortillas. They mix it up with certain things like, just like chicken or rice. Again, a lot of whether
Kind
it's
of
the
simple but tasty food.
simple. Yeah, yeah, simple. Yeah. And again, some of these foods I'm very used to because again, they're foods that I grew up on as well, eating as well as a West Indian child. So yeah, I'm very familiar with them as well.
Is there like a local barbecue joint or anything like that?
Just the chicken joint right here in the neighborhood. Like I do like that, but it's yeah, I find it to be very tasty. And on top of that, they give you three different toppings you can have. So nice like chili peppers. There's another type of like a salad that is what do we call that? Cooked. Very,
Coleslaw?
very, yeah, like a kind of like a coleslaw, kind of sort of like a coleslaw. And then there's another one that is like a maybe like green peppers and onions and something else chopped up. So three different things you can add to as toppings. So I'm pretty much again, once I like something, I kind of just stick with it. I don't venture out too much. I hate to say it. So yeah, that's my
All
joint
right.
here in the neighborhood.
Sounds good to me. How about your work life? What's the school like? What kind of school is it? Ages, class sizes, things like that.
So it's a bilingual school. Bilingual is the first name in the school. So Bilingual Garden School Victoria, BGSV. And basically they start from preparatory, kindergarten, grades 1 to 9. And there's only one
Prep,
of each grade.
pre-kindergarten, it's like preschool almost.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
so preschool, kindergarten, and then grades 1 to 9, and there's only one grade of every grade. Yeah. So let me see, grade 9 has approximately 11 students, grade 8 has, I believe, about 7, grade 7, about 7.
Oh, so small class sizes.
Well, grade 6, about 17, grade 5, about 21.
They seem to get smaller throughout the grades as they go up.
So I currently teach grade 5, grade 6, and grade 9 reading and vocabulary, as well as grade 9 speaking and listening, as well as grade 5 and grade 7 physical education.
So you're not like a homeroom teacher.
No,
They
no.
come out of their class and see you for specific skills or subjects.
No, yeah. So they have, I believe their home teachers are mainly Spanish. So for instance, when I have to provide the grade for phys ed, those two teachers for grade 5 and grade 7, those two teachers are Spanish. And also for grade 9. Yeah. So I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but it seems as though most of the home teachers are Spanish.
I guess my next question is, what strategies do you use to engage your students? Do you have any tips or tricks to really make sure those students are paying attention?
Yeah, well, I guess it always depends on the school and what, their restrictions are in terms of things like that. So for me, some of the things that works are what they like. So for instance, they love phys ed. However, if you take something away, so it's time wise. So instead of maybe people would give detentions, it's kind of like a detention during phys ed if they like that. So it's basically something that they like. So the boys, for instance, like they call it football down here, and of course we know it as soccer in North America. But yeah, so soccer, they have like a time of say 5 minutes. If they were misbehaving or just not listening or paying attention or what have you in class, they would lose 5 minutes at the start of the game or
Mm.
something like that. Otherwise, they have something that they call Star of the Week, and that's for a combination of things. So either like good behavior, maybe academics, whatever the teacher feels that this person deserves Star of the Week, and it's done for every grade. So not as a consequence, but just as an addition to, I do it as well in the classroom. So this is once a week that they do it on a Mondays, but I will also do that as a prize for, again, good behavior, good classroom work, those kinds of things. So classroom management, I think for me it is challenging just because I feel as though the bilingual part of Bilingual Garden School Victoria, they're not exactly quite there yet. Like every child in the class is definitely not bilingual. So it is challenging to try to reach those students where when you're communicating, they are in fact understanding what you're trying to communicate. So I feel sometimes this is where the behavior issues are exhibited. And I equate it to even myself. So, as an example, those same assemblies on a Monday morning, they're all in Spanish. Everything, everything is in Spanish. And I'm certainly not fluent. I'm just starting to learn Spanish myself. So sometimes I feel as though what's happening with the kids is that they may tune out because they're not understanding enough. That for me is the challenging part, is just trying to keep them engaged. And I try to use a lot of games after the, I guess I'm going to say, boring rote material to help solidify what hopefully I have taught them. So they do love games. And the one thing, even though they may be hyper, this is grade 5, I'm speaking of, even though they may be hyper, they love to participate. That's really all I'm looking for, is that people who, want to do a little bit more, want to learn and things like that. It has no doubt has been a challenge, because again, I'm just starting, and I think the classroom management has been the hardest part, partially with that language barrier, I think, as well. Grade 6 is a little bit better. They're not as hyper, but they just need to focus a little bit more. And grade 9, now grade 9 is on the totally flip side. They don't want to participate. They are just like, they feel as though I'm just here to chill in school. So the participation, you have to like pull it out of them. And they do it because one of the classes that, as I said, I teach is speaking and listening. So you have to talk, so they have to speak when it's assignments that I give them where maybe they have to come up to the front of the classroom and do, it's a duo, in other words, two people engaging, or whether it's them by themselves. But in those situations, yeah, they have like no choice but to do it. But otherwise, when it's just something where I need them to talk, yeah, it's like, I always say it's like pulling teeth with them because they don't want to talk. So that's the totally opposite of like say grade five, grade six versus grade nine.
Sounds like standard teenage behavior
I,
across all cultures.
I would say so. I guess so.
Do you find it helps if you get a local teacher to come translate or use Google Translate or something from time to
Yep, I have used that because I have taught also grade one and grade two. And grade one, like I'm not at that level, they are not at that level. And it's actually ironic because I remember one of the teachers that came here for about 2 weeks, she brought her 5-year-old son, and she's American. And me and that child, of course, were communicating no problem. It just goes to show to me they're not at that level yet where like it feels as though they need an L1 in there. And so, yes, I'll be pulling out my phone like each time they're asking me something because I don't know what they're saying. And then I can't, of course, if I try to respond in English, they don't know what I'm saying either. So it's back and forth with my phone, and it just did not work. It did not work because they have maybe one word, maybe two words in their vocabulary that they could say, but of course they can't form a sentence. And my broken Spanish is not helping them either. So
Yes.
it was
Like
a disaster.
a lot of courses, about creating an English immersion environment, and that's the end goal, which works well in some contexts. Older students who've been taking English for a number of years, but for very young, very beginner level students, it's almost impossible
Most
to
important.
instruct entirely in English with gestures and pictures. Sometimes you just gotta
Yes.
throw a little bit of native language in there.
Yes. So we don't have the resources, unfortunately, to have like a teacher's assistant or a native Spanish speaking teacher in there. So yeah, I was basically in there by myself. And so yeah, that was a challenge. And grade two was the same. Grade two was the same. So yes, I've also taught grade one and grade two. But yeah, my staple right now is grade five, six, and grade nine, and then grade seven physical education, as well as grade five physical education.
Sorry, my puppy is whining about something.
Oh,
Coco, come here. Come. Sorry. Let me just introduce you to this crazy dog.
oh, how cute. What's his name?
This is Coco.
Coco, girl or boy, I should say,
It's the
actually.
girl. She's
Girl.
1 year old.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Yeah.
Hi, Coco.
Look, Bernice is talking to you.
There's a
Hi.
cat actually out here, and that's why I ended up coming inside. I was gonna do it outside, but the cat is always like following me around and meowing and stuff, and I thought, no, I think I better come inside. So yeah.
Sometimes they just need attention. So back to Honduras. If I recall, you had a little bit of culture shock with the visa process and the showers and whatnot, but anything else you've experienced in terms of culture shock in your time there? And if so, how did you deal with it?
So culture shock. Okay, so I've been to other Central and South American countries, and so I'm getting used to the lifestyle. However, I'm gonna say maybe the food is probably the most culture shock, just because at first I had a bit of a problem with, maybe problem's a strong word. I guess my stomach, even though I feel as though my stomach is kind of like rock hard, rock solid, I just had a little bit of trouble at the beginning, but then I got very used to the breakfasts. In terms of maybe the road situation and the garbage situation, I think I will say are pretty shocking. I've asked many people and I've had many different answers. So the garbage situation, for instance, I was wondering, like, is there a regular schedule for pickup for garbage? Because you see garbage along the roads like everywhere. And some people they burn their garbage, and so I was wondering what is the system here. And then the roads, even though the roads are paved, so the main roads, like to and from, like say San Pedro Sula, that's going one way, and then the other way is Cofradia. They're all totally fine, but like off after the shoulder, I guess that's where you see like a lot of bad roads in terms of like nothing is paved, and the road going towards school, especially after a night rainfall, it's pretty poor because there are a lot of holes or puddles that are deep, and you kind of have to watch where you're going. In other words, you kind of have to have your head down like quite a bit, not
My
only
experience, that's pretty standard across Central America, I think. Both with the quality of the road work and also just the weather, the beating they take
yes,
from the rains
yes,
and everything.
yes,
Like in Costa Rica, they were constantly having to repair even large major highways just because they're on the side of, mountains basically or
yeah,
cliffs. There's always a risk of
yeah.
land falling down on the road and
Yeah. So,
whatnot.
yeah, absolutely. Because drivers always go like around, they tend to go around quite a bit. So also I guess another culture shock with the driving. Seat belts, I guess, aren't required. A lot of people don't wear seat belts. With your phone, like looking at your phone while you're driving, driving at exceptionally fast speeds. Those are all culture shocks.
Yes, no doubt.
There are no speed limits, it seems. I mean, there are, but people they don't abide by them. But yeah,
Enforcement is spotty.
yeah. So those are, I guess, are some of the cultural shocks. Not so much, like the people, like I said, the people are great. The people are nice. And I've met similar people in other parts of Central and South America. The hospitality is there. One thing I noticed that people always say, like when you're eating, even though they're strangers, they don't even know you, but they'll say buen provecho. And
Mm,
if you know what I mean? So it's like kind of nice. Yeah.
yeah.
It just seems standard. Yeah.
So would you say you've gotten used to it at this point? You can deal, or is it still
Oh,
a
absolutely.
challenge?
Absolutely. It's a matter of fact, myself and the American that was here have been here a good deal of time, considering from what we've been told. Two other people who came, one spent only a week and a half, 1.5 weeks, and the other one spent a month. 7 months comparatively is not too bad. It's not too shabby. But yeah, I'm definitely used to it.
You're a vet now.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm very resilient. I could overcome a lot of things. And also, it's just commitment. If I've committed, then I've committed. I'm not going to just back out because if I don't feel great about it or whatever, I'm going to stick it out till the end. So that's just how I operate.
I guess your time there is coming to an end. You said in the next week or so. What's next for you on your TEFL journey?
Well, I've reached out to you, and so there are places I'm interested in. So right now, what's on the horizon as immediately is a school in Colombia that I'm interested in and looking at and have applied for. But there are also other interests, outside of Central and South America. So I'm looking at possibly even Africa. You gave me South Korea. So yeah, it just depends, I think, on when these schools are ready to begin. I would rather be teaching already than to be waiting that long. Yeah, so hopefully at the beginning of, 2026, I hope to be teaching somewhere else. Yeah.
All right, we'll do our best. Hopefully, you find something in line with what you're looking for in the next few months. And before we go, would you say, or what would you say rather, to anyone who may be on the fence about getting TEFL certified and teaching abroad, or who may be concerned about investing in the cost, the time, the money, relocation costs associated with that journey?
Oh, absolutely. I would say go for it. Go for it. Take the TEFL course through Oxford seminars because it's well worth the money. As soon as you finish the course, you are on the way to getting a job. The placement advisors, I'm going to say it again, Rowan has been instrumental in helping me get to where I am. They are on the ball. They give you suggestions, and they're just, holding your hand the entire way, so you feel supported. That's the one thing I will say, which you don't always feel elsewhere. You feel supported. You definitely have the support. So do it. Like the course is not difficult. And once you finish, like I said, like it just happens so quickly because they help you, do your resume, apply, where do you want to teach? Like, and they help you through all of that so that you feel as though you have a choice. And so go for it 100%. I recommend.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really great to hear, and we appreciate your kind words. Thank you, Jake, for taking the time to join us this beautiful afternoon. We really have enjoyed hearing all about your stories from Latin America. Before we go, I should mention the positions available through our contacts in Honduras. Like we've heard Bernice talk about, there's a fantastic volunteer program in Brisas del Valle. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Valle. You'd work at that bilingual school with students through grade 9, it sounds like. It's about 40 hours a week,
35,
35 hours a week, okay?
35, yeah.
With the free shared teacher apartment or casitas on the property and a small monthly stipend, as well as partial airfare reimbursement for those who make at least a 6-month commitment. Is that still true?
I don't know yet.
Oh, find out about that. They
Yes.
told us that years ago. Things
Yes, I
do
know. And they
sometimes
told us
change.
that too. Yeah.
And volunteers can come for a shorter time as well. They hire new teachers throughout the year, depending on the length of assignments. We also work with a Christian K-12 program in Siguatepeque, which seeks Protestant Christian teachers for various grade levels. They typically pay about $315 a month plus free housing. $800 a year for airfare for 10-month contracts running mid-August through mid-June. And there's a teaching opportunity to work with 10 to 15 young women who have already completed a Honduran high school education. You'd be teaching two 50-minute classes per day, beginner English, mentoring, encouraging, tutoring, and collaborating with the other ESL teachers who are also teaching those students. For that one, I believe teachers earn about $250 to $300 a month and receive free on-campus housing. They're looking for people who can be creative with adult learners, enjoy life on an off-the-grid campus in rural Honduras on a 1-year contract. Start dates vary depending on when teachers come and go. And you can actually hear their staff explain more about their program on episode 29 of the Teaching Abroad pod. If you'd like to apply to Honduras, reach out to your job placement advisor today. As always, thanks for tuning in to the Teaching Abroad pod. We'll be releasing new episodes monthly for the foreseeable future. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe, share it with your friends. Remember, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the usual places. If you have any great ideas you'd like to hear us discuss in upcoming episodes, please leave them in the comments on YouTube or email us at teachingabroadpod@oxfordseminars.com. Thanks for listening.